We pick up in the library of the Esoteric Society, where Elsie has been looking through the books and trying to find a little information. What exactly was it that you were looking for again?
I was looking up information on Bast and the the charm that was brought in, and cats, and what was going on with cats in Egypt. Um, Pretty certain we have a good source for all of that, considering the
Yes,
library.
yes, you have quite a lot of books on Egyptology. It was a particular interest of Sir John Wallace's, and also, more particularly, of Maddie's. She was practically an Egyptologist, I think, in some areas. Like, she had a strong interest in Egypt. So you've got whole shelves full of books on ancient Egypt. So most of the time it's taking you, it's not a struggle to find information, but to narrow down on the information. You find
Mhm.
several books discussing the preservation of cats, their presence in tombs, the their veneration and almost worship, the worship of um, goddesses, and the number of preserved cat mummies that have been found. You also find an interesting story recounting an incident that occurred at some point in the 13th century, when it's come sort of third hand through I heard a story from someone who heard a story who heard a story from someone else. So some of the details are a little hazy. But it's a story of two people finding an old ruined temple buried beneath the sands in Egypt, making their way down into this temple to discover this room stacked with preserved canopic jars and these little sarcophaguses. Sarcophagi? Of
Sarcophagi.
sarcophagi of cats. And in the centre of it, an altar and a statue to the goddess Bath. And as the story goes, one of these um, grave robbers, explorers, depending on how you want to term it, took something from this temple, though his friend warned him not, saying that the place was cursed. They'd been warned not to steal. And a month later, in the dark of the moon, the first of these explorers was killed. His friend found his body torn to shreds as if by 100 tiny sets of claws. And there was no sign of that which was taken.
Ah, okay. No description of what was taken,
It
or
was
is it
described.
just
It was described only as a relic of the goddess Bast.
okay? All right. I think while I was researching all of this, I heard people out at the door, I think.
Yes.
I'm gonna take the book with me and go out to the door.
You head out. I believe. Which one of you was it that Ignatius was talking to? Mortimer? Or was he just talking to
Mm,
James? I cannot recall.
I was asking him, like, getting him to try to show me where this thing was on the
Yes,
outside.
yes. John is there, sort of peering out into the evening as the sun is getting low in the sky, the shadows stretching long across Grosvenor Square. There's no sign of whatever it is that Ignatius said he saw.
Um,
Unfortunately, go ahead.
Mr. Greaves, I found something.
Oh, what'd you find?
There's this story of some grave robbers dying after stealing something from a temple that looks to have been dedicated to Bast.
Um, Okay, I'm sure John would know who Bast was. Hmm. I
But
think
Bask, the cat-headed goddess of
oh, right.
Egypt.
Do you think that's related to the little
It's
pen?
highly possible. It says that one of the grave robbers was found dead about a month later, and as if killed by claw marks, hundreds of them. And I'll hold the book out to him, pointing to the inscription for that.
Okay. Um. hmm, Doesn't that's really odd. But do you think that's going to happen here? We look into this too much closer.
Um, Perhaps maybe they're trying to. It just says that it was a relic. It doesn't give any other description of what it was, but it's possible that this may be related to it. Um, it seems. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's something that we need to see. I don't know if they'll attack us or anything. They definitely want it. At least Medusa did.
Hmm. Really? Well, let's see.
Okay, whilst this discussion is going on downstairs with Elsie and John, where are Mortimer and Maximilian currently? What are you two up to?
It depends on how long Elsie was doing the research for, really. Because Mortimer wanted to test something with the pendant and the cats.
It's been some time.
Fair
Less than a day, more than an hour. Since you
enough.
started the research.
Because, actually, it depends. Because Elsie had the pendant, I think, before she went to do her research, because I'm pretty sure Mortimer handed it to her.
Yes, I think Elsie currently has it.
I think in which case Mortimer probably would have left to do his own research at his own shop before
So you're leaving. You're going out of the society for a while.
He would have left when Elsie went to start her research.
Okay. So as Mortimer's headed off to do his own research, Maximilian, what are you up to?
I was muted. I don't think Maximilian would go too deep into whatever this occult stuff is yet. Because as far as he's been seeing, he's just seen like a bunch of cats.
Allegedly.
So he still does not really have like a place to stay, and maybe his old friend might not be the best place to stick around if they're all being so odd. So he's probably gonna try another old friend, more like former superior officer, and to see if he might find another way to get back into high society, or more like find more connections than just Mortimer.
Okay, so you were also heading off out of the society.
Yeah.
Would you mind giving me a spot hidden as you head out into the evening to go? Who is it you're going to see? And where?
The Major General, the former.
Yes. Are you looking for him at his home or his club, or where would you be headed?
I would probably try his home first.
Okay. So we'll.
There. That is a success.
Okay, as you step out of the society, you're heading off, probably hailing a hansom cab.
I'd assume so, yeah.
Fair walk. You see something move in the shadows under the trees at the centre of Grosvenor Square. Just for a moment, out of the corner of your eye, you swear there was a large cat. I mean, you've adventured in Africa and other parts of the world. You've seen large cats before, but never in London, never in Mayfair. I would swear for a moment there was some sort of panther.
I would assume that it's probably like a zoo animal. And I would start walking towards where I had seen it.
Okay, so as you walk towards it, was just for a moment out of the corner of your eye, and you look around, there's no sign of it. But do you have, I guess, track or anything like
Sure.
that on your character sheet?
That is a success.
You look around at first, you think, no, it must have been in your imagination. There's nothing to see. And then you see there in the dirt, the grass, and the trees in this Mayfair square is a paw print. A large paw print.
I'll hold my hand next to it to have like a rough comparison of the size of that paw.
It does look to be about the size of a panther. There is no
Alright.
panther to be seen.
I mean, fair. Is there, I'm gonna look around, is there a way that a normal panther could have left
No.
without,
Make me a sanity check here, please.
fine?
Maybe it could have slipped off there between the trees, down that alley.
Did it
It's
leave?
definitely here, and it must have left somehow. Perhaps it got up onto the roof. No. Or down the alley, disappeared into the bushes. It must have gone somewhere.
Yeah, I'll keep looking around for it.
There is no panther.
No additional tracks either.
No additional tracks.
Yeah, I think I'll go on to the street and find a Bobby.
All right. Find out.
And yeah, drag that guy over, show him the paw.
Yes, sir. How can I help you?
I think there might be an animal from a zoo that's been escaped, because there's like
A zoo.
And I'm-
What kind of animal?
I saw out of the corner of my eye like a cat, but like a size of like a panther or a lion. And there is still, and I'm gonna show him over, and I'm gonna show him the paw print. So-
That's just a dog's paw print or something. Have you been drinking, sir?
No, I'm not. Not as far as I'm aware.
I mean,
I'm
you actually have been drinking today, yes.
Wait.
This is the
Yeah,
same
that
day
might
that
be.
you rolled back from the pub, yes. You have been drinking quite
I'm
a
gonna
lot.
turn around and be like, that's the way more rational. Must have missed it. Thank you. And I'll-
Well, take it easy, sir. Mind how you go.
I'm fine. And then I'm gonna go and grab the handsome cap.
The stories people make up. So as you head away, Mortimer, you've arrived back at your shop. What is your intention there?
Well, I want to check my book, Cults to Ghouls, to see if it's got anything about Bast or the cult, but also do a quick check of my books on history in that area as well.
Okay.
More mythology.
So whichever you would like to do first, either make me a library use roll to spend some time perusing your collection in general, or a roll against Cults to Ghouls to see if that one has any specific information.
Well, what
Your
I'll do,
choice.
I'll check the book first, because it's easy to check one book from a library.
Yes.
But I'll just roll library use, and we'll go by the rating of the book, which is
Yes.
36.
Yeah.
So this will see. if
Roll
this-
any 1d100 and we'll see if it
That's-
is in fact
that
lower
is-
than 36.
That
You
is.
read through Cults to Ghouls, there's mention of various cults and practices. There are a couple of references to Bast in this book. It seems to refer to her with the same level of regard and reality as it refers to things like the Black Pharaoh and other gods. Whoever was writing this book seemed to regard Bast as real, and mentions that she is was worshipped and regarded by the Egyptians in one form. Kind of face.
Does it hint at her views regards the Black Pharaoh? Because the fact that they're both in Egypt.
It doesn't go into any great detail on her. She is more of a side note in this book.
Yeah.
More mentioned as another power that was regarded by the Egyptians
As a real power.
As a real power. Though their understanding of her was perhaps kind of one.
There's no mention
this
of
book
that.
Suggests.
Yeah, there's no mention of that pendant type thing in this
No,
at all.
nothing like that. It's just a brief mention.
Yeah, I'll just check my library then. So I'll just do a normal library use.
Yeah. You're planning to wind away the rest of the evening.
Well, I'll just spend like an hour or so, and after I've done that, I'll head back.
Okay. Give me a library use roll then.
Hard success.
Okay. So you settle down to peruse your library, and we'll get back to you sometime later. Meanwhile, back at the society. Elsie and John. You've seen Mortimer and Maximilian head off out. You hear a little bit of commotion from downstairs. You hear I don't know, I've shut them in the coal cellar. That's the best I can think to do. Yes, I checked the coal hatch was shut. They can't be climbing out that way. No, I don't like it any better than you do, but they're causing trouble. Oh God, that's not even one of ours. Agnes, get the broom. We've got and a bucket of water or something.
I believe the amulet or charm. It was not bigger than my hand. Maybe that big, right?
Yeah, it's like that big. Yes, a little
okay.
cat.
I'm going. It was. I believe I put it in my pocket. I'm going to go and put it in the safe. In the office, not in the bedroom.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know indeed.
And I'm going to make sure it's locked. And I will shut the door there. And I will, and then I'll go downstairs and I'll say, you can let the cats out.
Oh, thank goodness. You see, James has picked up a few more scratches on his arm. There's also usually another very angry-looking feral cat roaming the kitchen. I don't even know how that one got in. They are.
You know, I didn't see them when we were coming back, but the others were saying there were all these cats following us.
Please, no more. No more.
Well, if it's anything related to the story that I saw, somebody might end up dead. I've locked it away for now. It's not on my person. It's not on anyone's person. So that should be okay. Don't know. This is beyond my... Agnes, have you heard of anything like this?
No, I mean, my ma always said that cats were, messengers of the gods. And that, one should always be kind of them, else, the gods might be watching through their eyes. But I don't know if that was true or not. My mum said a lot of things.
Oh, let the cats loose. We'll keep an eye on them. See to those scratches, James.
Yeah. Yes, oh, thank you.
And I'll go back upstairs.
Okay. Not Agnes. Elsie heads back upstairs. But now it's getting fully into the evening. Sun getting low in the sky. John, do you have any plans for the rest of the evening?
I'm going to continue trying to read through the library, this time with an emphasis on Bastet and the sort of things that are associated with her. Because he's just still getting used to all the unseen things happening in the society, so...
Okay, you can give me a library use roll as well. It's a night of libraries. You probably get distracted by how many other interesting things there are in
That's true.
this library. It's a really fascinating collection. So, as Elsie's headed upstairs, as John and Mortimer are perusing the books, Maximilian, you're heading over to see an old friend, his house. How is it that you knew the Major General? Was it pretty professional capacity? Were you good friends? What's the history between the two of you?
It started on like the professional level. Him being the direct superior of back in military days. And then a couple of encounters when Maximilian had already left the military. And, talking about old times over multiple stages in the following years. And so this is theoretically he's been always like a superior, but there's like not like friendship, but like knowing each other, visiting occasionally, like once or twice a decade.
Yes, you arrive over at his house. It's probably actually not too far away. It's a very short cab ride over to his townhouse. And you can see lights shining in the house. It seems to be there's definitely someone in. And as you come up to the door, you can hear echoing down through from an open window upstairs a very hearty laugh and the sound of voices. It sounds like the general has at least one other guest in tonight. The butler opens the door.
Hello.
Good evening.
I am not certain whether I should have ankündigen. Oh, vocabulary. One moment.
Hold ahead. Are you here to see?
Announced my arrival this evening. I wanted to meet the Major General. If he's in the house and has time.
Yeah, wait in the hall. I'll be just one moment. I'll see if
Thank you. And I'm tell him who I am. Would probably be useful.
You wait there. And there's a brief pause. And then the butler comes back down and says, "Yes, the general has a couple of guests over, but he says you're welcome to join them in the drawing room. That's the correct room. I can never remember the correct rooms for the correct occasions. In the drawing room for some port or brandy or something.
I will certainly do so.
Come
then.
this way." And he ushers you through, and you see The Major General sat there in his armchair, glass of port in hand, and there's two other gentlemen there as well, both looking sort of respectably well dressed, you know, proper evening wear, got some bow ties going, a little flushed around the cheeks, they look like they've been drinking a fair bit. Ah, Maximilian, please take a seat, have a glass.
Thanks, I will.
Not seen
I will.
you in an age. You know, Lord Payne and Mr. Holcomb? You met?
I don't actually think so, unless you're into archaeology and traveling around Africa.
Alas, not. Lord Weldon Payne. Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure is all mine.
Yes, no, I've never got round to doing much travelling. No, not really, not really my thing. I am, more of a town sort of fellow.
Well, I intend to become one of those too. It's the traveling gets tedious when you're getting older.
I can understand. Not that you're that old. How old are you?
55?
You don't look a day over 40. Please, take a drink. You've not met Theodore either. Theodore Holcomb. No?
No, I don't think I did.
Pleasure. So, settling down in London, old friend of the General's. Please, you should before you settle down. Let's hear about your adventures. Give us a good tale. We've been hearing too much about Weldon's architecture project, and I bored them all to death about banking. So at least you should have an interesting story to tell.
Oh, I have massive amounts of interesting stories, and I will just start with probably pretty tall tales. And basically taking something that vaguely happened and extrapolating the scales a bit.
Okay. I'm going to say give me a fast talk roll for how much this is believable, how much this is obviously a tall tale, and how much of this is like, yes, I totally buy that.
Very obviously tall tales.
They nod along, but you can see the doubt in their eyes.
Yeah, that's fine.
So yeah, you wind away the evening. Darkness settles over the city. Meanwhile, off in his bookshop, Mortimer poring through books on Egypt and cults and Bast. And you find mention of stories of a curse. A curse that will strike any that steal from the goddess. Those that steal from her are all found dead within a month.
At least we've got a few days left, man.
You find several mentions of different tales.
There's a lot of stories about curses to do with Egypt, anyhow, to be fair.
The one detail they all share is they talk about a dark shadow striking on the new moon.
Sort of like what Ignatius told us he saw.
Yes.
He said he'd seen some shadowy large cat. Okay, as soon as I read that bit and understand, I think we're probably gonna. Does it say anything about the curse? Is it to do with that or?
Says it will strike those that steal from the goddess.
Yeah. So as soon as he gets to that, he's gonna lock up his shop and head back as quickly as he can. Whatever the quickest method for him to head back is.
Probably getting a cab and heading back over.
Yep.
Okay. Meanwhile, back at the society, John's pouring through all sorts of other irrelevant books. Elsie, up in your room, is there anything you wanted to be doing with that evening, or are you just getting a nice early night?
Nice early night, I think.
Okay.
I've cleaned off all the paint. I think I'm done with paint for the day.
Alright, would both of you mind giving me a listen roll, please, as darkness settles around the society? The shadows draw in.
Nope.
Elsie, you can relax down towards sleep. John, down in the library. Hear something moving in the hall outside.
What sort of something do I hear?
It sounds like padding footsteps. Soft. Now there's something quite heavy moving quite quietly along the corridor that leads deeper into the house past the library.
I'm inclined to open the door and look and see what it was.
As you peer out of the library door, you can see down the corridor that leads down the centre of the house towards the office that used to be Sir John's. And you just see what looks to be a tail disappearing around the corner into that office. The tail of a very large cat.
I was just about to ask, is it a normal sized cat or...
Yeah. Do you mind giving me a quick little sanity roll, please? That was definitely not a small cat. It's a very large cat. I don't know if John's travelled much. Has he been to many zoos?
He might have been. I mean, travel was not one of his big things, but he's probably been to a zoo at some point.
You lose 1 point of sanity as you realise that there appears to be some sort of panther in the house.
Okay. Do I know where others are in the house?
You know that you can hear the servants downstairs clattering around, and you know that you think Elsie went upstairs, and Miss Plum had retired earlier that evening citing a headache. She's upstairs.
Could I go upstairs to Elsie's room without crossing where I think the cat is at this point?
It would bring you nearer to where the cat is, but you wouldn't have to go directly past it.
Okay, then I'll go upstairs.
Are
Then.
you trying to go quietly?
Yes.
Would you mind giving me a stealth roll? Let's see how quiet John Greaves can be as he slips through the dark of the house. He is like a shadow into the night. Barely notice your own passing. You do get to roll 1d10 and add that to your stealth, because that was a critical success. You slip upstairs through the house towards Elsie's room, where she's just settling down for a nice night's sleep.
I knock gently on the door. Miss Smith. Sorry to bother you. I just saw the weirdest thing downstairs as I was in the library. There appears to be some enormous cat in the house. Not, I mean, a very, very large one.
Where?
Downstairs. It went past the library toward.
The library.
Yeah. Toward Sir John's room? Office?
I'm going to go towards the office then. I've got my my house coat on, and I believe I locked. Did I say that I locked the office?
I locked the safe. Yeah.
I thought, oh, yes, I definitely locked the safe and I closed the office door.
Yes.
I go to the office.
The door of the office is standing ajar. Someone has opened the door. The safe still stands intact at the far end of the room. You can see across the metal on the front of this cast iron safe are 3 claw marks scratched into the top layer of the metal. It hasn't done that much damage to the safe, but something was definitely here. There is, however, no panther currently in the room.
I know I saw it.
Well, this wasn't here before. And I touch the scratch marks.
Wonder what it was doing or what it was trying to get to. Did you any idea?
Yes, I have an idea. I'm gonna leave it there. Help me make sure these windows are properly shuttered and locked.
Okay, will do.
Okay, as you're shuttering and locking the windows around the house, it's probably at this point that Mortimer returns. You see Elsie in her house coat, and
Yeah. The other thing is
John
Mortimer,
probably still in his day clothes there, like locking and
Right.
shuttering windows.
yeah, Mortimer would normally knock, although he's probably allowed to walk in anyhow.
You do have a key, yes.
He just politeness, it would be rude just to walk in because it's not his house. So, but on this occasion, he just walks straight in as quickly as he can. He's heading towards where Elsie might be. He'll check the usual rooms either way, and then he'll just head up.
Yeah, as I said, you find Elsie and John there, like in the light, like going around shuttering windows.
Did you have any luck finding out about the pendant or bast?
Bast, yes. There was a story in one of the books about some people finding a temple in the sands of Egypt. And inside the temple was an altar to Bast. Grave robbers stole some sort of artifact. There was mention of a curse. A month later, the person was killed by what looks like hundreds of claw marks across their entirety.
Yeah, that's similar to what I found. Some matter of curse. Basically, I found two bits of information. The first bit I found in Colster Ghouls, it covered Bast as a real entity as such, along the same lines as the Black Pharaoh, and as in a real entity as such. And the other bit I found out was about a curse to do with those who steal from Bast and the temples, and about them dying killed by a large black cat or something along those lines. So that's why I rushed back as soon as I could. We've got a couple of options. It looks like that pendant may have been stolen from a temple of Bast in Egypt. So what we could do is we can either try to contact Bast and see what she wants us to do with the pendant. That might be an option, because she may wish us just to return it to a temple or her followers, which could just be cats. The other option we got is the cat seemed quite keen on getting it. The household cat says. I'm not sure, were you here for the serpent person incident, Miss Smith?
Serpent person?
The cats apparently assaulted and attacked a serpent person.
No, I've
No.
nothing.
Oh, anyhow, this was some time ago. It may have been whilst you were away, but for some reason, well, to sum up, we'd been investigating something. I'd been away, I arrived, and I found a serpent person tied up to a chair in the kitchen. They appear more humans, but they have serpent-like skin, and they have serpent fangs they can bite. I can tell you a lot more. I've done a bit of a study on them, to be fair. They have their own language, which I've been learning as well. But it turned out this person had been abducting cats in the area and feeding them to a giant snake. And I think what else found out. But the cats really didn't like this person, so I trust cats, the household cats at least, they seem to have a sense of things that aren't normal. Quite a few animals, actually, to be fair, can pick up things that aren't natural. And I think these cats are the same, so I'm trusting these cats, depending on... We could see what they want to do with it. If they're hostile towards it or not, we could really, as I said, either contact Bast, or we could just see what the cats want to do with this pendant. You know, if everything I've read is true, then cats worship Bast. She's the goddess of cats. The cats may just take it.
Let me show you something. And I'm going to take him to the office, and I'm going to show him the scratch marks on the safe.
That's a big cat. I don't think that's one of the household cats that did that.
No, the paws are too big.
Did the cat leave, the one that did this? Or is it still in the house?
John saw it walking around.
Yeah, walking down the hall.
Around the corner of something.
What sort of cat was it? What did it look like?
It looked very big.
Was it stripy like a tiger, or...?
Would I have been able to see that in the tail?
The part of the cat that you saw was black. Not a
No,
tiger,
it
was a black cat.
It was all black.
So that's similar to what Ignatius said he had seen as well, watching the house. So, what would you like to do? We could try to contact Bast, but I suspect those sort of entities are not always that friendly, and they're not always forgiving. Or we could just see what the cats want to do with the pendant. They may just take it and return it to Bast somehow.
One of them did try grabbing it earlier, right?
Medusa. Medusa was able to get it. It's pretty fierce. Medusa's a little bit more on the gentle side, I think.
Can I see any of the cats round? Medusa or Freya?
Give me a spot hidden, please. Currently the halls of the house are dark. Oh, got to have a spot hidden. Otherwise known as find cats.
That's a fail, but I'm going to spend 4 luck.
You see, as you peer out into the shadowy corridors of the house, you see a pair of eyes staring back at you, reflecting in the dark from the end of the hall. There's at least one cat out there.
One cat.
They're gone into the shadows.
Was it a small pair of eyes or a very big pair of eyes?
Hard to be certain.
Basically, I want to know whether it is one of the house cats or something much bigger that just happened to be there.
Hard to be certain.
Okay. Well, Miss Smith, what do you think we should do? Because you've locked this up.
Yes, and obviously something wants it. I'm going to open the safe and pull out the amulet pendant. And does it have that loop on the back of it?
Yes, it has a little loop. You could hang it on a string.
All right, I'm going to take the ribbon that had my hair braided, and I'll feed it through the loop.
You should not wear that at all. It may put you in a lot of danger.
I was going to say, let's put this on Medusa.
That's a very good plan. I was just making sure you weren't planning to put it on. Because, well, it would have been a very bad idea. And unfortunately, during my time here, I've seen some very bad ideas.
Medusa, here, kitty kitty.
Give me... Oh, come on, give me an animal handling.
An animal hand... Do I get advantage?
You can have a bonus that. You can have a bonus on it, yeah. I just want you... Yeah.
No, I failed. All of them. Completely. And I don't have enough luck to spend.
No answer comes. Not from Medusa, at least. You hear something moving towards you down the corridor from the dark shadows. Padding of footsteps.
Does it sound heavy like
It sounds
what I had
heavy.
Yeah.
You have shoulders.
Well, What
And then
Mortimer will do
coming
is
into view from the shadows,
he'll grab the.
you see an enormous black cat. It's not
I'm gonna
a
drop it.
panther.
Yeah, I was
It's
going to
just-
say, Mortimer's just going to grab it and throw it in a
I'm
general
going
vicinity of the
Drop
cat.
it is going to fall out of my hands, even
It's okay.
even as Mortimer is going to grab for it.
The pendant drops to the floor with a clatter.
Could I try a dexterity roll to see if I catch it?
You want to try and catch it?
I want to
That's-
basically catch
yes,
it and move
yes,
it
yeah.
towards the.
Give me a
Effectively,
dexterity.
just knock it towards the big cat. Now, this could go wrong, but. No, it's a success on a dex. I'm just trying to knock
Catch
it
the ribbon.
towards.
It swings for a moment from your hand.
I'm just trying to pass
Turns
it
its
towards
eyes
the big
towards
cat.
you. So you're throwing it.
Yeah, towards the cat, more or less.
Okay.
Making sure it heads towards it rather than us.
As you throw the pendant towards the cat hunches its shoulders and in one bound pounces towards you. It lands the thud on the floor of the hall, only about a couple of feet away from where you stand. Looks
I'm backing up against the wall.
back and forth. I need a sanity roll from both Mortimer and Elsie, who haven't seen
Yeah.
this thing before.
Mortimer's going to move himself in position between the cat and Elsie.
Mortimer, you
It's a
find
better
yourself
thing.
freezing up for just a moment. As fear strikes you, you lose 1 point of sanity as Elsie backs away against the wall. Cat turns its head back and forth, staring at you with these strangely intelligent looking eyes.
Do you understand us? I'll say this towards the cat.
The cat stretches up a little, and then you watch as its form starts to warp and change. And now I need another sanity roll from all three of you present.
Okay, so the first one was a success. The second one is a fail.
I need a 1d6 from Elsie and from John. As the form of this cat twists and shifts, there's a cracking of bone as its shoulder joints realign. And where there was a cat a moment before, stands the figure of a young woman. Dressed, well, no, completely naked.
I was going to say
Apart
that
from a mane of dark hair.
Mortimer failed a sanity check on seeing a large panther, but is completely fine with one morphing into a naked woman.
Apparently so. It's like, yes, we're back on familiar territory. Large animals? No. Shapeshifters?
Humans, it's fine. He's a people person, he's not an animal person.
The woman bends down and picks up the amulet from where you tossed it to the ground. Thieves.
We did not steal that, but someone
And
brought
yet
it.
you have what is not yours.
We only gained it today. Once we found out what it was, well, we were going to see what Bast wanted to do with it. And it seems we found out it was sacred to her.
It is ours. It was stolen. One
Was
must
it-
pay the price for the theft. Which one of you will it be?
What price?
There is but one price for theft:
But we did not steal it.
death. If none of you will pay the price, then you must name a thief.
The one who took it.
What is his name or her name? Where might I find them?
I believe he
Not
was
the
in
thief.
Egypt.
Then name the thief, and the thief will die.
Keeper. I can't actually remember the name of the guy. I
Give me
remember we've met him twice.
Give me an intelligence roll. Let's see if Mortimer can remember the name in this
Give me a moment.
Circumstance.
I may. Never Lloyd Price was the guy, was it? I'll do an intelligence check. That's the name that's coming up to mind.
Maximilian
success.
told you that his friend Howard Phillips wanted you to give the amulet to Neville Lloyd Price.
That's the one. It's Howard Phillips, the
Yes.
excavator guy who'd been digging in Egypt a lot.
Yes.
So Howard Phillips is the name. I believe the person who may have taken it, I'm not sure, but the person who sent it to London was a Howard Phillips. I believe he must have acquired it in Egypt.
Howard Phillips. Egypt. I see.
Do you have a name by any chance?
You can call me
you-
Eris.
Well, a pleasure to meet you. Unfortunately, not the best of circumstances, but pleasure all the same.
No. Well, I have a thief to hunt and death to bring. I will leave you.
Oh, good hunting.
She gives a little smile. You see, her teeth are very sharp looking. And then there's Neris' form crumples back down again into that of the cat.
Was that Neris or Eris?
Neris.
Eris, Nerys.
And she turns, the shadows stretch out around her, and she is gone.
Well-
Off to hunt the thief that you have named.
Well, I think that went well.
Well, it went well for us. I'm not sure it's going to go so well for the other guy.
No. It's true, there's not much choice.
You are... As Neris disappears into the shadows, you're left with the knowledge that you have sent her to kill Howard Phillips.
That's one way to look at it. Or
Yes.
the other way
And-
to look at it is we saved ourselves.
I need another sanity roll from Mortimer here.
Oh, he's probably fine with this. He's been fine with strange things. Oh, that's a
You're
fail.
fine with stranger things you see, but I need one D4 here. You have condemned a man to death. You don't know if he did this out of ignorance or out of malice. You have ensured his death here today. And that is going to have an impact on you. To so easily wish death on others. You lose 4 points of sanity.
Yep. Still hanging in there.
As the shadows, the night and the house falls quiet around you. And off across London, ignorant of tonight's events, and already quite drunk, Maximilian toasts his great adventures with the Major General and his friends. And as the society falls quiet, and for now it seems your troubles are gone, I think we're going to go to break. We'll pick up in 10 minutes' time. It's something slightly different. I'll see you in about 10 minutes. And like that, We are back, and I know what I forgot to fix. I'm sorry. Evan, you'll now be playing Elsie Smith, because I forgot to correct your name.
I'll just change my outfit for something more comfortable.
I will fix that just a moment whilst we begin. So, back at the Society, the situation with Nerith, the messenger of Bast, is being tidily resolved. They've sent her off a hunting to find Howard Phillips in Egypt. Meanwhile, over at Major General Rosa's house, the port is flowing freely. And conversation has moved from adventures overseas to matters closer to home. The Major General turns to Maximilian. So, what's your plan now you're back in London? Have you got somewhere to stay?
I've been visiting an old friend.
Anyone I might know?
Davenport. He was, I think he was in our unit as well.
Davenport.
Maybe, I'm not sure. Might have been.
Was he the one with the
earlier.
sister? That fine
Think
woman,
so.
I remember her, yes.
Yeah, I've been visiting him, and he was like, I could stay over there, but
What's
I'd
he up
rather
to? What's he up to these days, anyway?
a bookshop, I think.
Bookshop.
Yeah. I mean, what you do to sustain yourself? I was thinking, maybe finding like an author to put down the memoirs, more in like an actual cohesive thing than drunken ramblings. And
Bookshop fella might know an author or two.
well, probably.
Yeah. You notice Mr. Holcomb frowning slightly. Looks like he's puzzling something over in his mind. Why is that name familiar? And no, it's not because of your sister. Rings a bell from somewhere.
I mean, once we clean again, it's probably gonna help tomorrow or something.
Yeah, I'll wake up with a clear head and remember that, he owes me money from a game of cards or something.
I don't take him for somebody that plays a lot, but potentially.
No. Are you much of a interest in a game of cards, or?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. You should come over to the Pacific Club sometime. Yeah, good place to spend the evening. You think?
I'm gonna pull like a little card out and write the name of the club down. I'm not gonna remember this one, Sam.
Oh no, it's always interested with interesting fellows. It sounds like you've got a fair few stories you could tell, and always livens the place up.
Oh, it's always places that need livening up.
As well, I don't know about you, but I must be turning in for the night, so...
Yeah, us probably.
Yes, me too. Well, I will, do any of you gentlemen need a cab to take you home, or back to your rooms, wherever they may be?
That sounds like a plan, yeah.
Yes, I will, Peters, call these gentlemen cabs. Where are you heading off to?
I think I would accidentally, instead of the address for the bookshop, take the Grosvenor Square address.
Yeah, Mayfair? Yeah. Here you go. And the butler, piles you into your coat and piles you into a cab. In you go. And goes, 18 Grosvenor Square. You're rattling off through the streets of London. And you arrive. Almost straight away, it seems. You must have dropped off for a moment outside the doors of the London Esoteric Society. By now, it is very late at night. Most of the lights are off. I don't know if Mortimer or John are still up, or if you know.
Most likely.
Mortimer would have returned to his shop by now.
Okay, you've gone back to the shop. Yes.
Seeing problems have resolved, he's just peaceful night's sleep, I think.
Yeah, John, you hear the rattle of a carriage arriving downstairs,
Okay.
and
I look out to see who it is.
you see a figure sort of wobbling their way up to the door.
And I'm gonna just stand in front of the door and notice that it's not the bookshop.
The carriage is heading off.
That's not the bookshop. Where was the butler knows probably where the bookshop is, and I'm gonna knock on the door.
There's a long wait.
In the meantime, I'll be coming down the steps.
As you're heading down the steps, you hear a voice from James, someone's knocking at the door. Kind of gentle. Oh, what at this hour? What do they want now? Yeah, John, you can open the door.
Okay, I'll open the door. Oh, next. Maximilian.
I wasn't supposed to sleep at Mortimer's place, but sadly, I seem to have mixed up the addresses. I don't actually know right now where the bookshop is.
Has Mortimer told me where it is yet?
Yes, I think you'd know. It's over in Bloomsbury. Yeah.
Oh, it's over in Bloomsbury. Do you know the actual address? I mean, we could go over there. I can assist you.
Yeah, that sounds. Yeah, I just need to sleep there somewhere,
Right.
and I'm gonna try to walk.
Just give me a second. I'll grab my coat and I'll.
Yeah, sure.
So Mortimer, you've arrived back at your bookshop. It's late in the evening. Probably past midnight at this point. Are you still awake? Are you still up and burning the midnight oil?
Past midnight. I think he likely would have taken a couple of the books from his library, the ones that he had found the information about Baston, and taken them up to the effectively the equivalent of a living room, just a lounge area, just set up to read a little bit, to see if he can find anything about Neris in them. But effectively just reading a little bit before going to bed.
You're reading away. You don't find any specific mention of Neris's name. And you're probably the candle is lit, you're about ready to go to bed when you hear a commotion outside your bookshop.
I'll just stick my head out the window and have a look down to see what I see.
Evening.
Wanna have a visit? Greetings from the Major General. From way back when.
Yes.
This might have been a bit too much porter.
I'll be right down, and I'll shut the window and I'll head downstairs to let them in, basically. Then, well, you may have had a drink or two. At least that's the impression I'm getting.
The George and I have been talking matters vegetable, animal, and mineral. With Theodore, Holcomb, and the Lord Payne.
So I'm guessing you need somewhere to sleep.
I should probably just ask George to stay there, but I kind of forgot.
Well, there is room here, so just come in. And I think the best thing is to do just get some sleep, and we'll talk about the strange cat things going on in the morning.
Oh yeah. The Bobby meant it was a dog, but I saw like a huge ass panther down in the yard when I left. But probably was just still drunk.
Did it say anything to you?
Plonk. Hmm?
I'm just joking with him. It's like, did it say talk to you?
Nah, it was just looking, and I saw like this large paw print. The paw print didn't look like one from a dog, but they're breeding the dogs to be whatever. So
Yeah, I don't know a thing about cats or dogs these days, so who knows?
maybe it's just a circus animal or something.
I'm sure everything will be much better in the morning.
Yeah.
Mr. Greaves, are you okay with somewhere to stop this evening, or are you stuck for somewhere?
I was going to make my way back to the society.
Well,
I just wanted to accompany Maximilian.
yeah, it's probably a good idea. Well, thank you very much for bringing my old friend back. He likes his stories and he likes his drink.
Totally understandable. All right. Well, then, good night.
See you in the morning at some point.
No.
Yeah, good night.
And I'll just lead Maximilian to the living room and point out bedroom, bathroom, and all the things he needs. There is a spare room actually meant for his assistant or anyone who's has to stop overnight for medical treatment.
Yeah, I'll probably collapse on the sleeping spot right then and there, and I don't think I bother, undressing.
Yeah, I think at this point Mortimer's just no. I'm just going to call it a night, and he's going to go off as well to his own room to sleep. Nice peaceful sleep with no strange dreams at all.
So yeah, you all sleep through the night. And morning comes, both at Grosvenor Square and over in Bloomsbury. And for Maximilian at least, brings with it a headache. It sounds like someone who's playing a timpani drum on the inside of your skull. Boom, boom, just a pound of blood in your head. Every beat bringing pain.
No.
And hazy memories of yesterday. Like, you definitely remember some of the stories you told, and in the light of day realizing
Yeah.
the gaps in them.
I think I glued like a couple together, and so none of them made any sense. Oh. Oh, there's a club that I'm supposed to be visiting at some point. All right. Got bacon. Oh, yeah. I'm just gonna go out and like have the hand on my head and like try to, find the kitchen by smell.
Yeah, you would have easily found the kitchen because it's at the back of the shop. From when you go in, you've got the main entrance of the shop itself, and the kitchen is set behind it, and that's where the stairs up to the main part of the building is, so you would have known. And yes, Mortimer's probably gone up relatively normal times because he hasn't been drinking that heavily. So he would have started doing some bacon, so bacon's one of those things the smell just gets everywhere very quickly. Bacon and coffee. So, Maximilian, how have you been today?
I assume I'll be better tomorrow.
Yep, everything's always better tomorrow.
Mm.
So you mentioned you had a good chat to some of our old friends.
Yeah.
How did that go?
I've been, telling the stories, making a couple of connections again, like a Lord Payne, like and somebody called Theodore Holocomb. I think the guy knew you, or at least he was like trying to remember who you were.
What was his name again? Sorry.
Theodore Holocomb. Holcomb.
Is that name familiar to me, Keeper?
I don't recall having met him any point recently, no.
It's not someone tied
Make
to
me
Earl Grey.
make me a credit roll here. This is
was gonna
essentially
say-
connections and knowledge.
Success.
You realise you probably have met him before. The Holcombs are a wealthy London family. They're involved in banking, and you probably have moved
not tied in with Earl
in
Grey by
similar
any
circles
chance?
to the Davenports, and especially to the Wards. You've possibly crossed paths with him at one of the parties your sister has held in the past, but he didn't leave a very strong impression. You don't remember Theodore Holcomb in particular, but you know of the family in general. It's wealthy, well-respected.
So I know of the
Londoners.
name. Wealthy
Yes.
family involved in banking.
And you'd also have heard of a Lord Payne as well, spelt with a Y. As a fairly well-known architect who's designed a number of buildings around London. Lots of projects in the last 30 years have got his mark on them.
That's good. Yeah, the name's familiar, but I can't quite remember where I know him from. It's possible I know him from some party of my sister's, or then again, he could be tied in somehow with my godfather, Earl Grey, who passed away some years ago. And unfortunate and unusual circumstances, we'll say. But it could be someone tied with that, I don't know, or one of the clubs he used to hang out at. But the name's familiar, but his family is well known, being quite wealthy and involved in the banking industry.
I mean, that sounds certainly like somebody that could help with my my predicament.
What do you need help with?
Getting like something actual, like stable going. Right? I mean, you talked about the author, but stuff like that needs funding, and funding is something I need to talk with fancy rich people.
That's true.
Unless you're fancy rich people.
I wish. Unfortunately, no.
I mean, you're just fancy people. I mean, look at that. And just be like over the bookshelves of
Well, most of my money went into setting this place up and just establishing this place, really. And it pays the bills now and again. Just keep it going. It's not much of an income, but it's constant.
That's all it needs to be.
Very true. What sort of skills were you thinking? What sort of profession were you looking to? Or were you thinking more, I don't know, a retirement sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I have like a bit, in terms of savings, but I was thinking if I could, I've been living a tumultuous life, and I've thought if I could make that to money, I could get a decent retirement.
Could do.
And if not, don't know. There's always people that need something done.
True. Well, you could always, what sort of skills have you got? You could always look into teaching or tutoring people.
That's fair.
Taking people for expeditions abroad. If there's anyone, you've done a lot of travelling in your time, you've seen a lot of interesting animals and you could probably train people or help people plan for stuff like that.
Not doing it myself, but just like talking to the people that are gonna be. Yeah,
It's an option.
That's an option, yeah. Didn't even think about that.
And being that my sister knows a lot of eccentric, wealthy people, I could probably send a few people your way as well.
That sounds perfect.
I can't guarantee they'll be any good, but they'll certainly be eccentric and keen.
Yeah. I mean, eccentric, keen, and wealthy just is basically everything you need, right?
Well, we should really eat up and check in with the society to see with Mr. Greaves and the to see what's going on. Didn't have a chance to tell you last night. We saw a strange panther in the society house.
Oh.
Well, I think it's a panther. It's a large black cat.
Yeah. Did it harm anybody?
Nobody in the society was harmed. It tried to get into the safe where that pendant had been stored. It actually scratched the surface of the safe, but the safe's quite solid. So, I mean, even a panther's not going to get through that.
I'm really. I mean, so it's not been like a productive my drunk brain, but there was an actual panther.
You saw it. Ignatius actually saw something similar. He said he saw a large black cat beneath some trees watching the house.
What would a panther want with? I'm not understanding this.
It's probably going to make your headache even worse, but what we ended up doing was letting it leave with the actual pendant. I don't understand why, but it seemed interested in the pendant, so we just let it leave with the pendant and nobody got harmed in the house.
My question to Maximilian here is, do you A, believe that Mortimer is telling the truth here? B, think this is some kind of prank based on the fact that you said you see the panther? Or C, is he an insane man talking a load of rubbish? What do you currently believe?
I think I would have believed him in the beginning and then thought that it might be a joke, but having already committed, I wouldn't,
All of the above, pretty much.
So somehow all.
Okay. My question is really, do you believe that there was a panther trying to break into a safe in Grosvenor Square? Does Maximilian believe that is a thing that could happen?
I mean, potentially. So it's not a absolute no, and I wasn't told that she transformed into a naked woman. So
yes, exactly.
Perfectly normal panther could have escaped like a zoo or a circus and done that, all for reasons. So yeah. I guess I'm not getting why the animal would do that, and it doesn't behave the way normal animals do, but animals in captivity just don't behave normally.
Mortimer hasn't volunteered any reason why he thinks it is doing it. He thought it was strange that it would do it in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, strange it's certainly strange.
Certainly strange. Yeah. Are you heading over to the society?
Yeah, I think it's best. He had said he'd speak to Mr. Greaves in the morning.
Yeah. My general question is, did you have particular plans? But it seems like you do.
I think he was going to... He didn't find any information about Neris, but I don't think we're going to find anything, but he's just going to head back to the society, and probably as he's chatting to Max, he'll probably want to show him the safe.
Okay, yes. You head over to the society. Elsie has left for her painting lesson that morning, but John is still pottering around.
Oh, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Well, thanks for yesterday evening again.
I enjoyed every moment of it. You need to tell me more about those tales from Egypt and Africa.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I sort of told Maximilian about the some of the incident with the panther. About
I thought it better not to say anything last night, but okay, so he's starting to know what happened.
Well, I mentioned how the panther tried to get into the safe, and how we let the panther leave with the pendant. And for some reason, it did actually leave with the pendant, and nobody actually got harmed. But you'd probably like to see the safe, Max.
Yeah, I think you would like to see that.
Yeah.
It was a bit strange. I think there's something not quite making sense about this. but it's probably best not to think too much about it, really. And I'll just lead Max to the study room to show with the scratch marks on the safe.
Yeah, you can see there's a very sturdy, well-made looking safe with claw marks scratched across the surface at the front. Or someone has scraped a few lines on the front of this safe.
Fair. How deep are those claw marks?
They're not deep, it's just superficial scratches.
Okay.
It is a solid metal safe.
Yes.
Yeah. I was thinking if a panther could deform a solid metal safe,
No,
I would
no.
be like...
It's very much like if you know if you've got like a cast iron surface and you like scrape a knife across or something, you see like you can see there's a scratch mark, but it's not actually left a groove in the metal.
So there you go. It's a bit of a strange one, but hopefully we don't see that panther thing again.
Fair. I'm assuming the size fits to the panther. Okay.
So that paw print thing you mentioned, and you thought it could have been a dog, or it might not have been. It could have actually been this.
Similarly sized.
I mean, they do sometimes have panthers in the city. Usually like sort of like a zoo-like thing, collections, curiosities, travellers showing off various animals. I mean, there'd been a story about some eccentric guy who lived far in the southwest somewhere who had a home in some sort of marshy land and stuff, and he used to have a panther. Apparently, he just let it loose at night. He used to collect exotic animals and pets from his travels and used to let them loose.
Potentially. I mean, maybe it's a zoo. Maybe it's like a traveling circus. Where it's come from? Maybe it's like this guy.
As you're having this conversation, you hear there's a knock at the door on the door of the office. Excuse me, sirs, is Mr. Johnson in there?
Yeah.
James's voice.
I'm gonna turn around and walk down.
A letter came for you. It says
All right.
Mr. M. Johnson, 18 Grosvenor Square, Mayfair.
Why would it reach me here? And who would? Oh, yeah. I told them the wrong address, so obviously it would reach me. Yeah. So what's the Major General want?
You see, you open up the letter. You see, dear Mr. Johnson, I was very entertained to hear your stories last night. If you are in search of a job in London, I believe I can be of assistance.
Yes.
Call upon me at 21 Milton Street, Marylebone. Yours sincerely, Theodore Holcomb.
I mean, I'm certainly gonna do that. Is there anything else you guys need me for? Because I got, and I'll relay the information.
Oh, that's good news.
Mortimer, you muted.
Yes, must be. Well, if it's an opportunity for some work, this is what you were after.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan, right?
It does. Well, if you need to get a hold of me, if I'm not here, I'll be at my shop. So, plenty of time to kill today.
Perfect. Then, have a nice day, and I'll...
Did you wish to clean yourself up properly before you go?
I just completely forgot that.
I'm sure
And we'd probably do that beforehand.
make yourself look at your best before you meet him.
Yeah, I will, clean myself up.
There was something I thought I should probably mention. You've probably heard the strange stories coming about out of Egypt about cursed items. Well, you've about grave robbers and stuff like that, and these strange stories. You probably see them in Penny Dreadfuls and that about cursed items. I'd be somewhat concerned that that pendant. Well, actually, I'm just trying to think of a way to word whether there's any strange stories attached to it. It seems a bit strange that a panther came in here and took it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be concerned about the welfare of your friend if he actually is at risk because he recovered it in the first place.
Maybe. I mean, there's a
Well,
lot of these curses are like, it being dangerous that you're digging in those things and then something collapses and then it's the curse.
Yeah, there's a lot of strange ones like a mosquito bite and things like that, but people get bitten by mosquitoes all the time, so
Yeah, and some die of the sicknesses and stuff.
and it's one of those things where people worry about something bad happening, and because they're worrying, bad things happen. But anyhow, probably nothing to worry about. It's just I've probably read too many strange stories from Egypt.
Yeah. I mean, maybe this pendant, I mean, it clearly reacted, the normal cats reacted to it. So why wouldn't a panther react to it if it's nearby for some reason?
Exactly. Keeper, I'm assuming the household cats are behaving normally now.
They seem to be behaving perfectly normally this morning.
That's good. They're not up to anything strange. And just cat stuff.
Yeah.
Just cat matters.
But, yeah, you just get yourself sorted and hopefully it goes well. I'm curious what sort of work it might be.
Yeah. How far up in Marrowbone is it? Is it very far? Or do you know?
I will grab the address and look at the map.
So it's probably not that far away, Marylebone. So where are we? We're in Mayfair, aren't we?
Yeah, Marrowbone's just to the north, right?
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It's up along from Euston Square and then west? It's been a while since I've had to find it. It would be, it's a warmer summer's day. It is a walking distance away if you want to have a walk on a summer morning. Or you could take a cab if you're not in the mood for a walk.
I think I will walk.
Yeah.
Maybe get some of that smell a little bit more dispersed by the time I'm there.
Freshen up a little.
Yeah. Giving it time.
Okay. You head on over to Marylebone and to 21 Milton Street, and what you see is a 3-story townhouse with doors, a double frontage, quite a big wide house. There's a little brass plaque, very discreet, very polite, that just says the Pacific Club, tucked in by the doorbell.
All right. I will ring the doorbell.
There is a brief pause, and then a man appears and opens the door to you. He is dressed fairly smartly. In what time of day is it by now? Let's think. It's. Did you come straight away in the morning, or is this after lunch by now?
I mean, I would probably have not rushed there, but fairly early.
Okay. So yeah, a fairly smartly dressed gentleman in his 40s opens the door. Sorry, we're not really open for guests just yet. We'll be open at some point this afternoon.
I see. Mr. Holcomb will
Are you a member?
Mr. Holcomb told me to ask for him here. Will he be there?
What's your name, sir?
Oh, Maximilian Johnson.
Would you wait?
Retiring adventurer. So
Wait just there one moment. He leaves you standing on the front step. For several minutes before he returns. Oh, apologies, I didn't realise you were here to see Mr. Holcomb. Please.
Thank you.
Come through. And he ushers you through into this entrance hall. You can see doors off on each side. And he leads you through into a sitting room. As you pass through, you can see this place looks not quite finished yet. There's pictures on some of the walls, but you can see there's still dust cloths over some things. As you peer through one of the doors, half ajar to the side, you can see the walls look like they're in the process of being painted. This place is not yet fully decorated. But the sitting room that you go into does appear to be mostly finished. And sat in one of the chairs is Mr. Theodore Holcomb. Johnson, that was very fast. I didn't expect such a prompt response. I wasn't even sure if I'd get to you at that address, but it was the only address I had for you. That was
Well, it is not actually mine. It's the one that we it's the one of a couple of friends of my friend that I remembered instead of his actual address.
Well, lucky that it was at least the address of someone you knew and not be sending invites to random London residents. That would have been unfortunate.
That it would have been indeed. I hope that your head finds you in a better state than mine does, but...
Oh, yeah, the General has some strong port, that is certain, and he's very, very generous with it. But he's always a very generous host. Yeah, I think, if I'm remembering rightly, and forgive me if I'm remembering wrongly, as I said, there was a lot of port. You sounded like you were in search of a job of some sort in this city.
Yes, exactly.
Bit of a loose end.
Yeah, I need a way to, leave the adventuring behind, because I'm getting quite old for that sort of.
Not old. You've got years in you yet, but I could do with a chap of various skills. Someone with a bit of intelligence, someone with a good set of eyes. Could handle them if there was a bit of trouble, but there shouldn't be any trouble. Good at keeping an eye on people, good judge of character, that sort of thing. Think you can fit the bill?
That would probably fit the bill, yeah.
Yeah, it's just try to keep an eye on things and keep the place running. I believe you met Michael. He's the manager of this place. He handles the door, but I could do with, someone who can mingle with the guests and keep up with the gossips and,
no
tell a few
problem
tales, keep the mood up, that sort of thing. Not as a regular gig. I don't expect you here every night, but often enough as I said, entertainment and a pair of eyes and ears should anything interesting cross her path. You've been paid a handsome retainer for this. And, should you hear anything interesting about, what Davenport's up to these days, let me know. He had some interesting connections in the past. It'd be interesting to know how he fares these days.
Sure.
I'm nothing too indiscreet, just general updates. I'm not asking you to go prying in his personal mail or
I probably wouldn't.
That kind of thing. No, nothing ungentlemanly. Just
Yeah. Keep up with
Yeah, keep up with the general things.
The gossip.
if he tells you any, you know, odd stories, tall tales, that sort of thing.
I see.
Anything that strikes you as odd or unusual. Anything you might see or hear around him or his associates that just strikes you as a bit weird.
I got an immediate story for you. Right now.
Do tell.
When I was coming over yesterday evening, I saw like a huge panther in the middle of the city. And just like that, it was gone.
Disappearing panthers. Okay, yes, that is exactly the sort of thing. Disappearing panthers, strange people, just odd stuff.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's some sort of circus animal or something. But, you know.
Yes, maybe.
Well, that's the boring answer.
Do you want the interesting answer? I'm going to warn you in advance, this might sound insane. Okay?
I mean, I'm gonna listen to it. This doesn't mean that I'm gonna believe it.
So, there really is no way to put this without sounding like a complete lunatic. So, there are things in this world that are beyond that which most people understand. And there are people in this world that meddle with those sort of things. That delve into powers that mankind was not supposed to touch. You've been to a seance or, like, come across table knockers and mediums and that manner of thing, right?
I mean, I had a couple of people with me on treks that were into that sort of stuff, yeah.
Yeah. You know most of that is nonsense. But just occasionally, someone hits across something that really is real. Real and dangerous. Superstitions, tales, you've travelled the world, you've seen things, right? And sometimes these things, they get the hooks in people, and it leads them down a dark path. And I believe that Dr. Davenport and his associates have started some sort of cult involved in these unholy powers. And I'm excited that this sounds somewhat insane when you put it like this on the table, but I trust you. The more time you spend about them, the more you will realise that I am not mad. But they are meddling with things that should not be touched, and someone needs to keep an eye on them. Now, feel free to leave now. Shut the door behind me. Go call me a raving madman.
Oh, it's fine.
But alternatively, spend a few weeks in their company, and you'll see. I'm not lying, and I'm not mad.
If I was the person that would throw away a decent job opportunity because the purveyor of said opportunity is a little bit eccentric, then I would have never gotten into the job I had in the first place.
That is very true. That is very true indeed. So humor me.
I will humor you, and I will probably also humor Mortimer if he starts doing something like that.
Yeah, so no, this is where we verge on the it's ungentlemanly. I would rather Dr. Davenport and his associates not know about my interest in them. You see, they are... It might seem unbelievable to say this, but they are dangerous people. I believe they have ties with the criminal underworld, and I believe that they have been directly or indirectly responsible for several unusual deaths and other such incidences around London. I can't prove anything, and I believe they possibly have some hold over the police or some grasp on them as well. I said that's like a mad conspiracy theory here, but
I'll keep my eyes open.
be wary. They are dangerous people, and they have shown no hesitation to murder people that got in their way in the past before. There's a trail of disappearances surrounding that address and the people that lived there. The man who owned it previously, Sir John Wallace, was murdered in his own house. His niece, the woman who inherited the house, disappears without a trace. No one knows where she went. There's others that have come and gone from that house. Dead, vanished without explanation. No real story, no conclusion. People die where they go. Be warned, this is perhaps not the safe retirement job you were looking for. So I'm not going to ask you to fight them. I'm not going to ask you to delve too deeply. Just to keep an eye out. Just keep a pair of eyes fixed upon them.
I can certainly try and find out a bit about the people that were involved with them.
Good.
And, maybe I can just ask Mortimer about him. Because he seems to have met them, right?
Yes.
And I'll see how they react. Maybe my old friend got something into something seedy.
It wouldn't be the first time. The Davenports are not as clean cut as they'd like to appear.
He's been a good medic. That much I can attest to. But
yes, well, obviously above all, your job is working as a doorman / entertainer / associate member of the Pacific Club. We'll pay you a retainer. You can work, 2-3 nights a week, whatever suits your schedule.
Sounds good.
We have the funds, we have the resources. And a pleasure doing business, I hope.
Your pleasure's all mine.
Well, I have to go and oversee some decorating choices for the new billiard room. We've been doing a little bit of refurbishment.
Yeah, I'll probably walk in and maybe chat about the interior, about the stuff that he's.
Yeah, he's like, I'm thinking. So this room was done in like a mauve, but it really clashed with the billiard green. So I'm thinking, get some old school oak paneling. Yeah, essentially he turns onto the topic of interior decoration.
Yeah, I'll probably always throw in like 1 or 2 things that I've seen other places how they do it, to give the whole thing a bit of an exotic vibe if he's into that.
Oh yes, yes, get some. I mean, we called it the Pacific Club. We want to get some international elegance going.
Yeah. If he's calling it a Pacific room, I'll probably start explaining stuff about the Maori.
Yes.
And that there's these masks, and yeah.
So you spend a few hours probably getting a tour of the club, discussing various matters. Whilst Maximilian is away, are Mortimer and John up to anything important today, or shall we pick up if and when you reconvene as a group at some later point?
I think being that Mr. Greaves was interested in learning more about the strange stuff, it'd probably be a good opportunity for Mortimer to not tell him everything, but some of the basics that he knows, some of the strange stuff going on. I'm not sure whether that would give him a mythos increase of anything, just effectively teach him about stuff, but not magic as such, just the general information of the weird shit, basically.
I'm going to say you can have like a 2-point Cthulhu mythos increase if you're listening to all of these stories.
Basically just giving him basics about some of the stuff he knows, references to the Black Pharaoh and Yig and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, that's the sort of thing I would absolutely love to know more about. So, getting to know more about what I'm getting into.
Yeah, so you can increase your Cthulhu mythos by 2 points.
Right.
Pretty much all the dangerous stuff is locked away, and it's probably a good idea to not to read them at this point.
Okay. Are there any particular books that I should definitely not even think about at this point?
Unfortunately, it's I believe the Society has a number of books that would seem quite dangerous. In fact, they seem to have some real power. Miss Smith tends to have the ones that the Society has locked up in a safe here.
Okay.
I'd actually given her, she'd loaned me a book, which I've had a look at. I believe it's a German book, Unspeakable Cults. I can't, well, I don't understand German, so I wasn't able to learn much from it, but I did actually leave her with a translated copy of one of the books I have. I have a couple of books. And I believe the Society has a few. I can't remember how many they have. I think probably about 4, possibly 5 now with the one I've given them. But yeah, it may be worth chatting to Miss Smith when she returns about perhaps seeing if you could study one of the books whilst you're here. I'm not sure what sort of thing interests you, what sort of area.
Well, did we didn't recover the book, the one that was made of.
Ignatius's one.
No, not Ignatius' book. The one that sent me on the wild goose chase with the.
Yes, you got that book. I believe the actual one to do with the Society, the Wine Drinking Society. I think we recovered a book to do with that.
Okay.
I think we did. I can't remember, Keeper. I think we, in the stash of books at the.
Yes, that was the one book you took.
So he got that book. Ignatius got his book, and Elsie took her books back.
Yeah, Elsie took her books back, and then you left all the other books. You didn't delve into any of the other books.
No, we did it. No, that's pretty much, yeah.
I just wanted a basic background on how all these sorts of things seem to work.
If you believe the stories, these things have always been about.
It seems reasonable.
But the books I've read, I think. I'll just check my notes. The oldest, the oldest one I've got, book-wise, I've actually got the original in Latin, 1542. Do you speak any different languages?
I do read a bit of Latin.
Latin's a good one. There's a few books that the Society has that are also in French, and I believe there's one in German. But I've been working on translations of ones I can into English to make it a bit easier. But I've got a limited knowledge of quite a few different languages, actually. The one I really want to learn is the one that the Serpent people use. I'm doing a study of that, but it's difficult to make headway because I don't know how it sounds. I've seen the written words, but
Have you ever come across any of the Serpent people?
Yes, we have. I think the Society has encountered 2. I believe Morgan McCrashley, you've not met. He encountered one some time ago at, I can't remember the job, but that one ended up being killed. There's another one that ended up being killed that was involved with abducting cats and feeding them to a giant snake. But I believe there is one actually in the city, in the National History Museum. I've been testing him to try and work out, but I'm hoping he is, but I'm not sure. Either I'm right, and he is, and he'll try and kill me once he finds out, or I'm wrong, and he'll think I'm insane.
Okay.
So, but they can make themselves look like people, like normal people. Some of them wear the skins off people somehow and make themselves appear as mortal. Well, I say mortal, they are mortal, they're just...
Is there any way to tell if they are...
Strange enough, once you've run into them a couple of times, they do have a strange smell that you can pick up on. Then again, it could just be going paranoid. But there is, if they spend a lot of time in a room, it tends to have like a strange reptilian smell that builds up. So,
Okay.
But that's as much as I know. I've only encountered them a few times myself, and I'm certainly not an expert.
Well, I mean, after having seen the Star Vampire and then Neris shape-changing, I'm about ready to believe just about anything at this point.
Well, one warning about the Star Vampire. If it's just fed off someone and you kill it, the Star Vampire does vanish, but the blood doesn't. It goes everywhere.
Hmm.
The Society encountered one some time ago on the Orient Express, and it took a lot to kill it, and then it exploded and filled the cabin with blood. It was messy. We had to run back quickly to get washed.
I'll remember that.
Hey. Yeah, so you spend time, you share some stories, some top tips for various monsters. Maximilian, would you be heading back to the Society that day, or are you giving it some time before you show up again?
I think I probably go back directly.
Yeah, so you head back after your visit over to Marylebone. Probably at this point, as you can hear John and Mortimer chatting away in whichever room it is they're in, the parlour, the library, the drawing room, the morning room.
To be fair, I think Miss Smith wasn't keen on people hanging out that much in the library, although we'd probably get away with it. If we're not actually doing anything with the books, it's probably more comfortably in the parlour or something, sitting room of some fashion.
Do I understand or just hear like a muffled?
You hear a chuckle of laugh. You hear, "Make me a listen check, please," as you enter.
I mean, I'm already obvious. That one succeeds, sure.
You hear something about blood getting everywhere.
Would we have heard him arrive in the house as well?
Make me a listen check. Go on, listen checks all around. But yeah, you catch something about the blood gets everywhere.
That's a fail.
John, you hear sort of the door closing downstairs as James takes Max's coat if he has one. I know it is July, you possibly don't have a coat, but takes anything you're carrying and directs you towards where the other gentlemen are.
Sounds like we have a visitor.
Could be. Maybe it's Mr. Johnson regards his job. Hopefully it's good news.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, I'll come up to the others, and I'll just give a brief overview about what my job entails. And
what kind of overview are you giving, and what are you saying that your job entails?
I'm gonna stick with the stuff that is not problematic if I tell them.
You're going to tell us the first job you've been given rather than the other task.
Yeah, exactly. I will not include the snitching part. No, I'm going to tell that I'm gonna be bit of a bouncer, bit of a entertainer for that club, telling my stories, and maybe listen a bit around if there's goofy gossip, maybe.
Sounds an ideal job for you. You get a chance to tell stories and you're paid to do it.
Yeah, just perfect, right?
Which club was this? Where was this? There's quite a few gentlemen's clubs in the city.
That is I forgot.
Would you have had it written down somewhere?
It was the Pacific Club.
Pacific Club. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Is this the same club to do with Earl Grey that I saw Earl Grey in?
No.
It's a different one.
You have never visited this club before, and you know of no association between this club and Earl Grey.
Yeah, I was just checking whether it's the same people. It's okay. Well, I don't know much about that club myself, but if Theodore's involved, then it's probably a very expensive club and exclusive. I'm sure you'll enjoy your time there.
Yeah, it'll be fine, I think.
I have a couple of authors in mind regards having your sort of memoirs written up, so I'll send them letters and see if any of them are looking for writing up something like that.
That sounds awesome. Thanks.
So at least that'll give you some extra cash on top of this.
Can never have too much, right?
Well, there's only so much things you can buy, I suppose. You can't take it with you.
Fair. And at some point, but if you have too much, you can give it away, right? You can't just take it from people. They get angry if you do that.
That's true. But,
Yeah, at some point, I should probably look around to see if there's any part-time curator or library.
oh, that's a very good point. I've got a friend who works at the museum and a friend who works at the library. I was going to inquire for you, so we can visit them whenever you wish, or I can probably send them a message right to them first, and we can always make an appointment at a later date to meet with both of them, really.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you. Being an OAP is not really a thing just yet in England, so.
But no, I mean, you've got a great deal of experience as a librarian. I mean, experience and knowledge is important in these places.
Maybe they'll have a little something they can throw my way.
I'm sure they will. You can only ask anyhow.
True.
And the university is always a possibility as well.
Yes, you've got contacts, and John, you have some contacts of your own. Having worked at the Bodleian, you've got a very good track record, and would have the names of various other people at various well-respected libraries.
The Librarian Network.
Yes, the Secret Librarian Network.
So what'll we be doing today? Do you have anything?
I'm sort of at a loose end, to be fair. I'd probably return to my shop and try and organise it. It had closed up, to be fair, for some time when I was in Constantinople. And unfortunately, whilst I was away, it was locked up. We had a security guard hired to keep an eye on the place, but I should really run my shop, really. It's the only way I can sell stuff if I'm there. I need to look for actually assistant after my last one left. She left due to me being in Constantinople and found other employment somewhere. It was 5 years away. Nice city, though.
Yes, unless anyone has any immediate plans or shenanigans they want to get up to, I think, yes, I saw a little shenanigans grin there.
Yes, well, basically, Mortimer will actually write to his friend at the library and the museum, basically inquiring and introducing Mr. Greaves, really, about inquiring for work, give a bit about his previous work at the library and sort of things he's done, and level of experience and expertise, sort of reference him, really, and make a general inquiry. We'll also write to his friendly snake person. Basically ask him to make an appointment. To explain, not everyone may be aware of this, but he had actually sent the sample of the snake skin off the giant snake that we recovered to said person. He was hoping to chat to him in person, but he couldn't actually make an appointment with him. He couldn't be fitted into a schedule, so he was going to write him a small letter as such, and he had sent the letter along with the sample of the giant snake skin. So he'll probably send a follow-up letter to that. But the details I'll have to sort out before the next game.
Yeah. Okay. Does anyone else have any other ongoing projects they want to begin? Any shenanigans they want to engage in? Or otherwise, I think we may bring tonight's game to an early close, as I think this is as good a time as any to begin a little bit of a downtime, a little bit of time skip, give John time to settle into whatever library job he gets in London, Maximilian to settle into his new job as Pacific Club entertainer / spy, and for Mortimer to get his bookshop properly up and running, and for things to settle down in London without any strange cats coming to attack you, with Ignatius Emberath out of your way for the time being. The chaos has died down. There's like a distinct correlation between the presence of Ignatius and the general level of chaos in your surroundings. That night, actually, at the society, you would be served a lovely dish of very well-made rabbit stew. And no sign of Ignatius's rabbit was ever seen again. Except that somewhere in
Let's
the
see
bowels
what
of the society
seconds.
kitchen, Agnes has a nice warm rabbit skin muff to keep her hands warm in the winter.
Not a rabbit foot lucky charm. To aggravate
I'm probably a little rabbit foot
to
lucky
just
charm.
aggravate Ignatius with.
She's saving it as a gift to give him when he returns to the society.
You're writing that down as well.
Yeah.
It's very evil. I had nothing to do with that suggestion.
Look, of all the servants to make an enemy of, you made the enemy of the one who
Knows stuff and can
Knows
be
stuff.
vindictive.
yes. But yeah, I think that will be probably where we draw to a close. Things wrapped up a little faster than I expected on the cat shenanigans, and what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something, but I forgot what it was.
Cat's got your tongue.
Exactly.